Good afternoon. We're continuing our discussion of Mishloach Manos, one of the mitzvahs on Purim, and we're in the Mishnah Berurah Tafresh Tzadi Hey, Dalid 695-4, and we're in the middle of the Mishnah Berurah on Sif Kot and Chaf. And the mitzvah of Mishloach Manos is that on the day of Purim, we give 2 food items to one person. And we learned some of the details last week. You can listen to the previous recording for that, and we're going to continue where we left off. Okay, Shtei Manos, Ba'aniyim hikpidu litein l'shnei aniyim de mitzvah lachalik, ma she'en kein ba'asher dedai kishenosin la'echad. So the Mishnah Berurah compares this to the mitzvah of matanas lavionim. There's also a mitzvah to give gifts to the poor on Purim. When we give gifts to the poor, we give a gift to 2 separate people. We give a gift to 2 separate people, because there's a mitzvah to give to the poor that way, to split it up. But Mishloach Manos, which is to just a friend, someone who's not necessarily poor, a regular person, then you give 2 gifts to one person. So Mishloach Manos is 2 to 1, and Matanas Lavionim is 1 to 2. Zeh shaloich lazeh, we mentioned that if somebody's poor, he can switch meals with somebody else. 2 poor people, if they can't afford to send Mishloach Manos, they can each, one guy can give to his friend, and the friend could give back, and that counts as Mishloach Manos. Again, the friend gives something to him. So even if you go eat by him, you give somebody Mishloach Manos, and you go eat by him, you still fulfill the mitzvah of Mishloach Manos. The mitzvah of Mishloach Manos has to be by day. So too, Matanas Lavionim, gifts to the poor. We do that Purim day, so this year that's Friday. We don't do it Thursday night. Imlo shekim hamitzvah d'shloach manos leishachad matanas shnei yom b'yom ein afkamina b'man sherotz lahos evod b'layel. Doesn't make any difference what you do at night. O mochelo, we said if a person is mochel the Mishloach Manos, let's say you give him Mishloach Manos and he's mochel, what does that mean? Mishnah Berurah says, Omer hareini ki'ilu hiskabalti. He says, view it as like I accepted it for you, but he doesn't take it. Yatsa, so even in that case, the Shulchan Aruch says you fulfill your obligation, even though he didn't actually take it. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Pri Chadash chalik al zeh, the Pri Chadash argues, the Chsam Sofer b'sim kuf tzadivav metam al zeh. The Chsam Sofer does not understand this halacha. So if someone gives you Mishloach Manos, please be nice and take it from them. The Isha Chayeves, we said a woman is obligated to give Mishloach Manos just like a man is obligated to. There's no difference between men and women in this mitzvah. Shekulin Hayabos Anes, because women were also saved at the miracle of Purim. The whole Jewish people were saved. Women also have to be happy, and they have to make poor people rejoice as well. Uksiv, it says, Kimu v'kiblo haYehudim, the Jews reaccepted it upon themselves, reaccepted the Torah. Gam nashim b'chal, that includes women. Men and women are the same here. Because of a Magen Avram, the Magen Avram writes, Lo re'isi nisharim bazeh, ve'avsher davka ba'amana, aval isha sheyesh labal, ba'ala mishalech b'shvilo, l'kam anashim v'kol makam yesh lahachmir. So, the Magen Avram says that a woman who has a husband, her husband can send for her to people, to men, and he says, nevertheless, yesh lahachmir. So, there's a debate exactly what this yesh lahachmir means. What does it mean to be stringent? So, a woman can send Mishloach Manos herself, but also her husband, a woman's husband, can send Mishloach Manos for her. Now, if a husband sends for a wife, there's a debate exactly how it has to be done. They cite Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach that says if a husband gives Mishloach Manos to somebody for his wife, he just has to tell the person that I'm giving this to you for my wife. Now, if he wants to give one Mishloach Manos for him and his wife, he says this is for me and my wife. In that case, there should be not 2 gifts of food, but there should be 4 separate gifts of food. So there's 2 for each. That's what I saw quoted in a sefer in the name of Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. Now, there's other opinions. They cite Rav Elyashiv that says that if the husband gives the Mishloach Manos for the wife, then she actually has to make a kinyan. She has to make a halachic acquisition in the Mishloach Manos. But that is that's what they claim. In a book I saw, says that the common practice is that the husband just lets the person know that who he's giving it to, that it's for his wife also. So, but we did see there's a debate that a woman can give Mishloach Manos herself, or if her husband gives for her, there's a debate whether she has to make a halachic acquisition in them first, or if it's sufficient if he just tells the person that he's giving it to that I'm giving it to you for my wife, Also, if he gives one Mishloach Manos for both of them, it should have 4 items according to that which I saw. Okay. Savik Kedushin, we said that a man shouldn't give to a woman because it looks like a question of marriage. How so? Why does it look like a question of marriage? He says we're worried that if a single guy is giving a single girl, or a man is giving a single girl a bunch of presents, it looks like these are gifts for after they got married, after they performed for halachic kiddushin. So we don't want that to happen, so we don't do that. Now, it says we're only worried about that Mishloach Manos, but we're not worried with that when it comes to Matanas Lavyonim. So what's the difference? The Mishnah Berurah says, because Matanas Lavyonim, you usually give money, and we're not worried that you don't give your future wife money. You give her gifts, flowers, presents, things like that, a fruit basket, but you're not going to give her like cash. It says, now even if you're for Matanas Lavyonim, you actually give gifts to the poor, you actually give food, the way it's being given is being given as charity, and it's not being given in the way as a gift, so we're not worried that it looks like a kedushin there. Okay, so that's the Mishnah Berurah. Now, just to round this off, I would like to read what the Be'er Halacha says. Well, before we get to the Be'er Halacha, we mentioned this last time. When you give Matanas Lavyonim, you have to give 2 items of food, but it has to be a respectable amount of food. They say the Aruch HaShulchan is quoted as saying that it has to be a chaticha haroi leschabeit, something dignified. It can't just be, the example I saw in a book was that it shouldn't just be like a lollipop. It's not really a dignified gift that you would give to somebody. And they say in the name of the Aruch HaShulchan, he says not just a revius or a kazayas, not just like an X volume, but more something much more dignified. Now, it goes beyond that. The Be'er Halacha says, from the Chayadim Ohiach Min Yerushalmi, Dim Sholeach La'ashir, if you send Mishloach Manos to a wealthy person, Davar Pachos, and it's like you sent him, some small amount of food, it's like beneath him, Eni Yotzi B'zeh Mishloach Manos, V'chei Mashma Ritva, if you gersa Achos, Achein Shari Poskim Lo Eskira, Davar Zev Nachal Nizar B'zeh Lechatchila. He says from the Chayadim that if you send a wealthy person something which is like below his dignity, like something which is not so valuable, he says you don't even fulfill the obligation of Mishloach Manos. So while the Be'er Halacha says we don't see this halacha recorded in many other works, but nevertheless one should be stringent. So one should be careful, if you're giving to a wealthy person, that the thing that you give is according to what they're used to. Give them a dignified amount of food. Don't just give them, like a lollipop and a cookie or something. One maybe not fulfill the obligation of Mishloach Manos with that. Okay, if anyone has any questions or comments or just wants to say hi, please feel free to reach out and give me a call. Have a great day.